Perfect.
We're good to go. Let's do 10 seconds of silence, and I'll play the intro.
This aircraft, there are 6 emergency exits.
Hello, everybody. This is Ron, your captain speaking. We are currently 30,000 feet in the air, and we haven't even left the airport. We just lit the joint. Just kidding, a little pilot humor there. We like to have fun. Our destination today is Casablanca, Morocco. So everyone, sit back, fasten your seatbelts, and prepare for takeoff. We will be arriving in 6 hours and 58 minutes, so sit back and enjoy the ride, okay?
Hell yeah, I like to travel. I like to travel, but I don't got a plan. Catch me rolling through your city, yeah. Got my toes in the sand. I think I got some wanderlust, but I don't give a damn.
7-footers. Are you happy to see us back so
soon?
So soon? It's been a little bit of a gap, but now we are heading into preseason, followed by obviously regular season, and the 7-footers are going to be back weekly. And again, we're not alone.
I know. We seem to love these guests lately. We're on a guest spree. We
I love
have
it.
with us the host of the Hoopland podcast, Mr. Jonathan Gomez.
What up, what up?
That's right. If there was an audience in here, they'd be doing a standing ovation for you. Okay.
What's good, JG?
Not much, guys. Excited to be here, talk some basketball. It's been a long summer, even though it's been basketball summer. That's all it's been.
That's right.
All summer.
You know, so JG and I, obviously, we cover the Nets together. He does work for Kings County Politics. I mean, all sorts of things, and that's how we sort of connected on the Brooklyn Nets beat, and now we're like, yo, man, we got to get you in here and talk hoops.
That's
Yeah,
right.
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Absolutely. Gerard, because of you, my friend groups have grown so much.
He's Mr. Popular.
He is. I have so many new friends now.
Popular.
It's amazing.
He's going to be popular.
I love that song. And thank God he came in with the little jingle, because I was about to tell him that all of his friends like me better.
Oh, Lord.
You know
Listen,
what?
we're not even going to get into why
That's
that is.
definitely
or,
debatable.
like-
I usually take her side on Twitter.
Yes, you do.
Oh, yeah, because you like to start fights. So.
My number one supporter.
That's true. That is true.
JG. All right. I would love to continue this back and forth, but I can't because we have an extra long set of critiques, takes, everything today.
We
Because
do.
we are breaking down all the teams, and we're really going to get into the nitty gritty of what we want to see. Will they be a league pass team, Jarrod's favorite pastime? And will they ultimately make the playoffs? Now, I'm going to sit more in the hosting desk today because JG is here, and we want to
indeed.
hear his hot takes more than mine. And, of course, Jarod. So these two are going to go at it, and I'm pretty much going to break up the fist fight that will eventually happen. So, you know.
We're going team by team, Jenna, through
We are.
the entire Western Conference today.
We are. I'm super excited. So let's kick things off with the Northwest Division. The first team that we're going to hit, the Denver Nuggets. Okay, they won the division. They went 54 for 28 last year. The number 2 seed, to refresh everybody's memory. Let's start off with, what are we most excited to see? I'm going to tell you guys really quick, throw my 2 cents in. Obviously, I want to see an all-star upgraded performance from Nikola Jokic. And I want to see Michael Porter Jr. off injury. I want to see him making moves. Now, I'm going to give the floor to you guys. JG, the guest of honor, started out.
I got to agree. Michael Porter Jr. is at the top of my
usual.
list. Like, I think if he turns out to be what a lot of people think he was going to be, like this hybrid forward, along with Jokic, Murray, and even Harris, that's a scary like core.
Yep.
But aside from that, same thing. Jokic, Murray, and Harris, their growth, how far they're going to take this team next season. But I guess that's it. After that, I don't see much else to really talk about.
You know, for me, yes, obviously Michael Porter Jr. is what I want to see, but it's what I want to see from Michael Porter Jr., right? Like, you have to remember, so he was part of that draft class last year, right? So all those guys, Marvin Bagley, DeAndre Ayton, all those, they were like, no. When we were in high school, Michael Porter Jr. was that dude.
Yep.
Like, he was the guy when they were all coming out of high school, going to college. And Jenna, you and I talked about this on one of the earlier pods this year. it's a weird injury bug that whole family has, like, and they're catastrophic injuries too. He had sisters that played volleyball, all sorts of other sports, blew out ACLs. Like, so now you're wondering, is it a genetic thing where they just have like a defect somewhere, and this is problematic.
Yeah.
I think the other thing is the pressure is minimal for him, right?
Very minimal.
Because he has Jokic, he has Murray there. Harris is a great addition to that, but
absolutely.
he has those guys. So the team, there's less to fall on his shoulders, and it gives them a chance, the Nuggets as well as him, this opportunity to kind of come along slower, to bring him along slower, not put him out there, force the issue. He has the talent. It's all about whether he's healthy enough.
And that's the thing. They don't need him to be, again, as I said, what he was supposed to be. I've said it forever. If they can get 15 minutes a night off the bench from him, that is huge.
Exactly.
All you got to do is come and roast second units, hit some threes. I mean, this is a 7-footer who can handle, who can shoot it. I mean, grab some boards. I mean, for me, that is, if they can get that, watch out for Denver. Obviously, Jokic, the big thing with him is I want to see, does his body get better? Did he get better condition-wise in the offseason, right? He was a little out of shape, and even for out of shape, he still made All-NBA, right? I mean, and Jokic is probably the best passing big man in the game, right? And he can shoot the three. I mean, he's excellent. That Murray-Jokic pick and roll, nightmare. And a sleeper, an off guy that I'm thinking about too, Jeremy Grant, who came over from Oklahoma City. If he can screen for Murray or Jokic, and he's a cutter and gets to the rim, you know how many easy backdoor dunks he's going to get? And he's a good defender. I just like what Denver can do. And again, if they can get just a little bit, 15 minutes a game, so you're giving me what, 12 points a night?
And we always talk about, too, Michael Porter Jr., how if he wasn't plagued by the injury bug, his draft ranking.
Oh, yeah. He wouldn't have fell to Denver.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The other thing, mentioning Grant, they were, I think, in top 10 in defense or opponents scored. Grant is just a great addition defensively.
Oh, absolutely.
He can guard three positions, and especially in this NBA.
Exactly.
But he's a great addition, especially when you have a guy like Millsap who's aging. You have guys like Harris who's undersized at the small forward position. You could, like, having him there to relieve them defensively when they have guys like Marvin Bagley, when they're playing against guys like, I don't know, Devin Booker.
Yeah.
To have him out there is huge.
Especially in a loaded Western Conference, right? Like, we're talking about the West today. That conference is stacked. And, we're going to talk about each team. Are they making the playoffs? Look, it's going to be hard to make the playoffs in the Western Conference. And even the teams that, like, we don't think will make the playoffs, let's say like a team like, I don't want to spoil it, but like a team like Dallas, but they're going to be a tough out. You can't just go into Dallas and win on a Tuesday night.
It looks like another season of there's going to be a lot of teams fighting for that 6, 7, 8 spot.
Yeah.
Maybe even that 5, 6, 7, 8 spot. It's going to be crazy.
All in all,
and let's not forget Malik Beasley as well on Denver.
Yeah.
54-28. To me, I like them right now to be. Look, everyone's going to talk about the Clippers and the Lakers, and we'll get to them when we get to the Pacific Division. But people might just sleepy Northwest Division. Nobody thinking about Denver. Like, listen, they're going to be right up there. I mean, they were battling the Warriors all last year for number 1 seed. And remember, the advantage they have over the Lakers and Clippers is continuity, right? These guys, this isn't a brand new thing for them.
They've been playing together.
They did it, and they were the number 2 seed last year. So
the other thing I love is Murray. He's kind of like this newer villain in the NBA. He's such an ass. He's such a
he's not afraid of people.
He's not afraid of people.
Yeah.
He has all these antics and he's
talking
shit all the time.
I like it.
But it still comes back down to like, what's the next step forward? Because I think some people were probably a little surprised as to how well they played last season.
I wasn't, but yes.
Yeah.
But now it's, can they make the leap?
Yeah, can they make the leap? And you worry about, you see this a lot in the NBA. You see teams, they take that step forward and they don't improve.
Yeah.
That's why guys like Grant and even Porter coming in and contributing are huge.
And that's the big thing, right? Do you read your clippings all summer about how great you were and whatever? I mean, if you're Denver, if I'm on Denver, I'm not amped about the summer, right? Like, I lost to Portland when I shouldn't have in Game 7, and right? You know what I mean? So, because honestly, we talked about it before, and we'll get to Portland. I know they made the Western Conference Finals. They, to me, are not a Western Conference Finals caliber team. Now, I get it. You play who you play, and you beat who you beat. I get all that. But Denver was a better team. But look, over 7 games, Portland won it, and Denver didn't. So you got to tip your hat to them.
Yeah.
Ultimately, Sleeper team, I think, for Denver. That's just me. I mean, but I think this is also going to be a make or break season for them because if they don't come up with, like you said, that next step up, then
The question is going to start being, okay, how good do we actually think Jamal Murray is? How good do we actually think Gary Harris can be? Right, in those questions.
Even Jokic, right? Like, how good is he?
Right.
I mean, he's talented. He's
Oh,
one
yeah.
of the best passers at that
Best
position.
scorers. I mean,
since
he's,
Sabonis. But how good is he, right? Like, again, you see guys who are all-stars. I think a good example, and not to, again, spoil anything, is like guys like Karl Anthony Towns. The numbers and the talent are there.
Yep.
But
do you contribute to winning?
Exactly.
for sure. Now let's talk really quick, rapid fire here. Are they a league pass team?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, simple enough. And do we think right now with what we see, the evidence that we have, will they make the playoffs?
I think so. There's
Barring injury.
There's no way you drop from 54 wins unless catastrophic things happen. And
Yes.
Yeah.
Unless it's like the Warriors in the finals last
and they
year.
lose everybody,
And people
right?
are dropping
Yeah.
like
And
flies.
really quick, but just one more point about Grant. They lost for 17 games, I think it was. They lost, or 12 games, they lost Millsap.
Yeah.
Again, he's
Yep.
aging. So to have a guy
Grant,
that can just,
yep.
you can throw in there for that in that position,
I like
is
it.
huge.
Totally.
And the other thing is, Jokic is only 24.
Oh,
They're young.
I mean,
jeez.
and
They're super young.
And Jokic was all NBA first team last year. Like,
And he was like, he had a build that reminded me of Joel Embiid
right?
before he dropped 20 pounds.
He was a little Delby last year,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But like, and he still put up monster numbers last year.
Yeah.
Like,
You know what else I love?
he was 20 and 10. Like,
Gary Harris got paid.
yeah.
And he's still before he really showed any signs of how good he could be, and he still went out there and performed. I think last season he took a little bit of a hit in
Yeah.
his stats,
Yeah.
but for what he does, he goes out there, he gives it his all.
Mm-hmm.
He's a defensive player.
Mm-hmm.
He's a guy who makes the offense, helps the offense move, and he could hit the three ball.
Yep.
So I like this team.
Mike Malone's happy with this team. Look, again, Jokic, he had 7.3 assists last year as a center. That's more than like your team's favorite point guard. Like, do you know what I mean? Like a lot of them, right? I mean, let's just keep it 100.
I like it.
Anyway.
It. Let's move on. Number 2, the Minnesota Timberwolves. Really quick here. Ooh, look at that. Okay. This is going to be a juicy one. Not so unanimous like the last one was. Okay, Minnesota Timberwolves. I'm obviously excited to see what Karl Anthony Towns brings back.
Right.
Again, I think he needs to propel the next level because the Timberwolves team isn't exactly the best team. And I'm excited to see the addition of Jordan Bell because he was a major role player, in my opinion, on the Warriors. He has great experience there, great postseason experience. So I'm excited to see how he's going to fit in with this offense and defense. All right,
You want
go.
to start it or
Yeah. So I'm with you. Can Cat be a leader? That's the first thing I want to know. Can Cat lead?
Exactly.
The physical tools are there. Like, he's the prototypical new 7-foot center in the NBA. Like, he's got all
And he's
the
got the
skills.
cornrows coming back with.
Everything.
You know I got to throw
No,
it out there.
yeah.
But here's what I wonder. You didn't rock with Tibbs and Jimmy. Okay, fine.
Nah.
So Gerson Rojas, the GM, Ryan Saunders, right, the new head coach, your guy. The franchise and the people in charge have done everything to say the team and franchise now belongs to you. Can you lead?
Make
Cat?
or break year for
Like,
Cat.
Are you that guy, right? Can you contribute to winning basketball? I know you can put your numbers up. That's fine. Can you contribute to winning basketball? Now, part of that is the talent around him. And the other thing we have to wonder about is what is up with Andrew Wiggins? Like, is this just what he is? Like a dude who one night might give you 35 and 8, and the next night might give you 0 points. Because we've literally seen that. He will score nothing the next
And you
night.
said that last season too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and that was the knock on him coming into the league. Is he the guy that's going to, is he going to give you everything that he's able of doing? You know,
Right.
he's a good rebound. Well, he's shown signs of being a great rebounder.
He
great
should
passer.
be an all-NBA first-team
Yeah.
defense. He's got all the physical tools.
Great defender. He shows signs here and there, and he did it in college, of being able to do all of that at a high level, and he has not done it consistently.
Why though? What do you guys think? Why is he being held back? Is he
No,
not?
I don't think that.
I think it's him, to be honest.
think it
Look,
is him.
We always talk about this. There's levels to this, right? Everyone in the NBA is talented because there's only 450 slots, right? So everyone is good at basketball. What separates a league average NBA player from a starter, from an all-star, from a superstar, from an MVP is consistency, right?
True.
Your top 10 guys in the league, consistent, right? LeBrons, your KDs, your Stephs, your Hardens. When it's an off night for them, they still fill the box sheet up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it don't matter. They find ways. They don't have 0 for nights like Andrew Wiggins. Like that's not a thing.
But it's also not just overnights. It's also like he
disappears. Yeah.
Like you look at the box score and you're like, oh, he had 28 points today, but nothing else. He had like 2 assists and like 3 rebounds, and that's really disappointing.
Did he affect the game on defense? Did he? Right.
Yeah. He has like 0 impact most of the times on the court, and
Very one-sided.
Yeah, and so for me, like when I looked at this question, I legit said, I'm not sure there's anything interesting about the Timberwolves.
Right.
And I guess I guess Jared Culver, who was the number 6 pick, is interesting. You know, because he's a young guy.
Right. And I liked him at Tech. I really like Jared Culver at Tech.
I also think that if he ends up being, a good player or even
an above average league starter,
or somebody that you can look at and say he's going to be a star in this league, Andrew Wiggins' days are numbered. Yeah, I mean, I think there's teams you see it every season. There's always going to be teams that are going to take a chance on a guy with a big contract, especially at this age. But because
he's still young,
And other than that, we talk about role players. I look at signings like maybe Noah Vonleh could be a good signing because he played decently. He's 24 years old, but
there's not much on that team that you're hyped about.
Yeah, I mean, I do. Speaking of Vonleh, Covington, Agoki.
Rocco, I like Rocco.
Yeah, like these
Rocco's hurt though, isn't he?
He might be, but these are guys that I look at, and you look at all 3 of them, and you say to yourself, these are the kinds of guys that make a difference on a good team. The problem is
that's not a good team.
They don't have a good team. They don't have 2 guys that you look at and you're with confidence saying, "Oh my God, we're going to win 45 games because of these 2
They got one guy, right? Which we said in Cat, but is Cat enough? And the other thing too, we talk about it all the time too, Jenna. The competitive advantage in sports is ownership, right? Listen, Timberwolves ownership ain't that great. Let's just call it what it is, right? It's not good. So. Okay, we got Jeff Teague. Cool. I mean, again, Jordan Bell. Okay. Look, the Timberwolves are what they are, and we'll get to the questions you want to ask us.
That's that. All right, again, let's go rapid fire. Are they league pass team?
I mean, for me, nah.
You're not going to waste your money on that one.
No.
Well, I mean, we have league, so so I can watch them if I want to. Will I choose to?
But you wouldn't want to waste your money on them.
Probably not.
No, like
they're just included in league pass.
I think if Cat show signs, like if they end up showing signs that they can be,
they start out the gate like 8-4 or something,
and
or
if
like,
they surprisingly come out and impress you,
because honestly, my expectations are no playoffs, right?
Yes, none.
But if they show signs that they can be like at that bottom tier of playoff teams,
right? Like
I want to tune in and watch that.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't believe that that's what they are.
No,
I think they're in a similar spot to where the Nets were 2 seasons ago, kind of rebuild-ish with a 1 leader.
Except what they have, but the Nets didn't have anything. They have Karl Anthony Towns at least.
Yeah.
You know
what? I think that's giving them a lot of credit.
I'm the softie here.
I'm pretty brutal on it. I look, coming out of college, I loved Cat, and offensively, he has shown all the signs of being a great big man.
Superstar. He got the tools.
But he's lazy defensively, and he just, I don't know, like he's just doesn't motivate out there. Like that's a part of being a star. It's not about how you scream or yell or show pump your chest. Sometimes it's about how you play and motivating your guys. That's what some of these stars do, and I don't think anybody's motivated by him on the court.
And look,
I agree.
You can say whatever we want about Jimmy Butler and how he handled that situation in Minnesota. However, there is some truth to what Jimmy's saying, right? When he came out and he said, look, I should not be the hardest working dude in here, right? Like, Cat and Wiggins have talent for days, but I'm the best player on this team because I outworked both of them. How is that possible?
That is a very impactful statement.
That's Jimmy's thing. He's like, how am I the best person on this team? Those two have more talent in their finger than Jimmy Butler. Yeah. But they don't work nowhere. They don't work an ounce as hard as Jimmy Butler works.
A guy like Jeff Teague, right, with the talent that
Towns and
Wiggins has.
Yeah.
That's a perfect point guard because Wiggins can do it all. Like he has that physical ability to do it all. And so you have a guy like Teague who can take the load off running the offense and manage the offense and hit some threes and play some defense. Mm-hmm. But when Wiggins doesn't give you half of what he can do, then Teague is pointless. And other guys on that team, other role players that seem solid, they're pointless.
Rocco on that team is like,
like, all right, cool. He's a good player, but not on this team.
The hope is that Gerson Rosas, the new GM, is,
Yeah,
gonna
I
do some
mean,
new things.
look,
We'll
the
see.
talent is there.
Right.
We could
At least
both-
from the two,
We'll see
two
how they
young guys.
execute.
Yeah, we could be totally wrong, but I'm not
doubt it.
buying it.
I
I'm
doubt
not
it.
buying it.
It's going to be a wait and see, and I think we can unanimously agree that they
10
will
wins.
not
No.
make
Ten
That
wins.
they
They won't be as bad as the Hornets, but
that they won't make the playoffs.
right. No, they will not.
Okay.
No playoffs.
All right. Now let's wrap that one up because we have to go to the Chris Paul point guard led Oklahoma City Thunder. And speaking of him, I'm excited just to see that because it was the weirdest thing I've ever seen on Media Day.
Yeah.
Now, they went 49 for 33 last year, number 6 seed, but they look very different. Like we said, Chris Paul led team,
Yep.
and we still have Steven Adams. And yeah,
I think-
SGA, Gallinari,
Yeah.
what do you think?
Oh man, it's funny. I since the trade, it's been one of the questions like, what is this team going to look like? I think two things that concern me. One is Chris Paul's age,
yes.
right? And two, where's the scoring going to come from? Obviously, they have Gallo, which is
Right,
great
right.
because I know a lot of people aren't into the analytics, but
Right.
the analytics showed that
Yeah.
he is an impactful
No,
player.
we are into the analytics on this pod. It isn't everything, right?
But-
I use it, but it's a tool that I use with my
Yeah.
eyeballs to tell me
But
what's happening.
a guy like that with a point guard like
Oh.
CP3 is great. But again, it's his age, like
And his injury history.
and his injury history. So, I don't know. And I like the chance of him. I love him and
SGA?
and Steven Adams
Yeah,
running
the pick and roll.
Pick
Yeah.
and roll. I
Oh,
love it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Adams is gonna eat.
Now Shea
Gilgeous-
Gilgeous-Alexander, like this kid he has potential to be really good, and
I like him
playing
a lot.
alongside CP3
It's gonna teach him a ton.
It's gonna be great for
Yeah.
him. So I have hope.
And they got Roberson coming back. Look, I think Oklahoma City's going to be a little better than people think. I don't think. Look, we'll get to whether they make the playoffs or not, but they're going to be a little better than I think people realize. As you mentioned, Gallo. Listen, Gallo can score 20 something a night. Like you got scoring right there. Chris Paul is going to get you now that he doesn't have to share the ball with James Harden. Chris is going to get you 18 to 20 and 7 to 6. Like you're good. Like and Steven Adams eating off that. I mean, his scoring should go
Yeah.
up. So I'll put it like this. A Wednesday or Thursday night in Oklahoma City, if you're not coming to play, you're going to lose. Like, they will find a way to beat you.
Because Gallo's also good defensively.
They will-
He is not like a turnstile. This
No.
guy can D up, and he's, 6'10"?
Yeah, he's a big dude.
225 pounds.
He's a big
something like
dude.
that. But again, she mentioned injuries. Gallo,
Yes.
another
Right.
guy who's
Injury
been
prone.
plagued by injuries. So I have a feeling that they are going to be great to use in 2K and great to use in fantasy when
in
they're
2K.
on the court. But, I really hope that they can stay healthy.
Yeah.
But the health and CP3's age, it doesn't help. And even with all those injuries,
Right.
Gallo's like a 35-year-old as it is. But
Here's what I think. Do we think that, well, first of all, how long is Chris Paul and Gallo going to be on that squad, right? Do they get moved at the trade deadline? Does Oklahoma City do a legit full-on rebuild and a teardown, right? Because when they shipped Russ out and all that, they got and Paul George, they got draft picks back, right? But did Oklahoma City sort of squander its future? And when I say by that, in the sense that did they miss everything when they had, and you know where I'm going, KD, Harden, Russ? Is it sort of like the basketball gods being like, well, you had your chance, my friends. You had 3 league MVPs on one team, and you gave them all away. So now,
it
never going to be good again.
I think it could be, but I also think it could also be the basketball gods saying like, you're gonna get a second chance because things like, yes, it was Presti's job to say like we have to keep these guys together, but it was also like some circumstance as well.
I mean, Clay Bennett was being cheap. Let's be
Yeah.
honest. Let's call it what it is.
But I think he to make the moves he's made
Right.
since losing Harden, since
Right.
losing KD,
Right.
it's like what?
Right. Yeah.
How many GMs can really like put it together like that?
They've managed to remain relevant and make the playoffs every year since
True.
then, right?
Yeah.
So,
and I think he was smart to
move-
hold on to CP3 and not move him.
for now, yeah.
Because there is a chance. Look, you always got to think of the owners. There is a chance to have asses in the seat if they're a winning
Right.
team. But what can you really get for
Well, I was
him?
going to say that contract is probably not movable because it's
Yeah.
got 2 years left on it and $40 million per. Like, I mean, that's
Yeah.
So your job
2
now,
or 3 years left.
Your job now is to let's milk whatever we can get
Mm-hmm.
in terms of Alexander, and let's see what he can learn
Yeah.
from CP3. Let's hope he doesn't get hurt, and let's hope that there's a team desperate enough to say, "Yo, Like
CP3 can help us.
I'll take CP3.
Going off of what you said, what people can learn from CP3, that is what I think is the main get that you have when you take on CP3. His knowledge,
yeah, for sure.
His attitude of the game, he just sees it very different. And I think that that is a huge asset to a team. So people still holding on to that aspect, hopefully it works.
It's funny, though, because I look at CP3. There was I guess Raja Bell has a podcast, and he talked about Melo not being in the league, and he talked about his last tryout. His last tryout for the Pelicans, they cut him, and his agent told him, he realized, like, I'm either gonna be the guy who competes in practice, knowing that there's a younger guy coming up and I'm helping him, or I'm gonna be that guy that competes because I want to be on the court at 35 years old instead of helping out these younger guys who the teams are more invested in. And I wonder, which one of those guys is CP3?
Is he that guy right now?
I don't know. Like, I think there's a lot to learn there. Yeah. I just don't know how much he's willing to
let that go.
Let that go.
Yeah.
I think he still has some gas in the tank, right?
Oh, I do.
Clearly, he's not what he once was, but like he still has gas left in the tank.
But he has those special moments.
He does. SGA, obviously, as we mentioned, I'm really concerned. I'm curious to see how he develops. And real quick, Chris Paul's contract, what's left? This year, 38.5. 2021, 41.3. And a player option in 21, 22 for 44, which he will exercise. So that's a tough contract to move. But listen, you know what P.T. Barnum once famously said? There's a sucker born every minute. So
yeah, James Dolan.
So somebody will take that contract on if Presti wants to move it.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Are they a league pass team? OKC.
Not for me.
They're an
And I don't think for anybody else either.
They're more for me of I'll watch the Twitter videos in the morning.
Like, you know what? Who's the most exciting player? Hamidou Diallo?
I mean, I like Hamidou.
I do too, but
yeah.
How many people are going to say, yo, I want to watch Hamidou Diallo?
You're right.
Well, first of all, they can't say it, so they won't. Just saying. So will they make the playoffs?
Highly unlikely.
Oof.
I think they can be one of those, like,
riding
bottom
the line.
half.
Fighting for like the 8, 9. I think it's unlikely. Well, actually, not highly. It's unlikely, but they'll be around there.
Okay, let's move on to the next team. Portland Trail Blazers. They went 53 for 29 last year, the number 3 seed. I personally think that there's a lot of pressure on them, and there's a lot to prove because people are going to expect that next step. And obviously, we know what that next step is since they made it so far in the playoffs last year. Now, I think CJ and Dame are going to have to really step it up. That's it. I think the duo is going to have to really kick it up, and that's all I got to say.
For me, can the Blazers make it back to the conference finals? I said it earlier on this podcast. I've said it on previous podcasts. I think it was a circumstance of who was in front of them and who they didn't have to play to get to the conference finals. Because if they had to play Houston or if they had to play Golden State, there was no way they were getting to the conference finals. So I just don't think, yes, they made it last year, so kudos to them. But in my mind, they're not a true conference finals team. So can they do that and get back there again, number one? Number two, look, they got some new pieces. Can Terry Stotts revitalize Hassan Whiteside? I'm very curious to see what that looks like. Is Whiteside going to be on his best behavior? And for better or worse, Dame and CJ are who you're rolling with, right? That's who you've signed on. And listen, I love Dame and CJ's games, but you know where I'm going with this. I have a philosophical thing in my mind that it's hard for me to get over when all of your offense has to be generated by 2 guys under 6'3". Like, in the playoffs, that concerns me. When your 2 main people that have to score are 6'3" and shorter, that makes me very, very concerned.
Well, we also have Nurkic coming off of that brutal leg injury.
And he won't be back till, I don't know, what, January, maybe February?
I mean, Hassan Whiteside is up there for me, too, as, like, something I'm looking out for. But mainly because it allows them, I think, more than ever to cheat a little on the defensive end, Lillard and CJ.
Because he'll cover up some mistakes if he's engaged.
He said something today or this week about
Media Day.
Yeah, Media Day about how Stotts is going to use him more at the elbow and to pass and stuff like that. They're going to run plays for him. We'll see. We'll see.
Who's he going to be? He's going to average 20-something points a game?
Yeah, because he's like maybe this is crazy, but he's like a poor man's Dwight Howard, I guess. In terms of blocking shots, grabbing crazy rebounds, but Howard was not like offensively sound either. So he's probably worse than him. Anyways, the point is, I like him there. I like the addition of having somebody that can defend the rim. I love that they're going to be getting more second chance opportunities because these guys can score at a high volume.
Oh yeah, listen, Dame and CJ can fill it up.
Yeah, but I'm not confident in CJ as much as I am Dame, even though he played really well in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I just the same thing. It was some circumstance there, who they matched up with, and that there was some luck there. But
And look, every team that wins the title, you need some luck. All right, let's just
Yeah,
you're
absolutely.
just gonna roll through things. Like things have to happen in your favor. I'm agreeing with that 100%.
I think the other thing, Rodney Hood,
Yeah.
Yeah,
because I think finally he's in a role where
he is.
he's like not.
Yeah, the guy, like
He's not the guy, or expectations of
right,
being the guy.
right.
So
come off the bench. Yep.
come off the bench, do what you were like drafted for. Play defense. He's a good defender. He can shoot the ball. And then I like Zach Collins.
I love Zach Collins. I'm
Like I'm high on him. High in terms.
He showed
of
out last year at the end of the season.
Yeah, he can ball.
And he got a little bit of nasty streak in him, which I like for a big dude. I also love the Nazir Little pickup in the draft from Carolina.
Yeah.
So I think, Nazir played at Carolina under Roy. And, Roy's very hard on young kids, particularly freshmen. And, Nas is doing a little bit of crazy stuff on his own, but I think that kid's got uber talent. So I'm curious to see him and Anthony Simons. I think if Stotts can get those guys to buy in, look, Portland's, when we'll get to whether they are fine, but I like a lot of the pieces they have. My concern is if Portland fans as an organization, you're trying to build off of last year's success, which was you went to the conference finals. Well, your next step is we want to get back there again and hopefully win. Can they? I have questions about that.
Yeah. I also Nurkic losing him
it's huge.
and him not being there
Yeah.
is huge
Yeah.
because he was
Nurkic is big.
He was excellent.
Nurkic
like
is big.
He was on a streak when that happened,
Yeah.
which even
Nurk-
hurts
listen,
more.
Big
Yeah.
Nurk is I'm a huge Nurkic guy.
He's
Yeah.
got a better all around game than Hassan Whiteside does. As much as I love Whiteside being on that team, but it's just it hurts because they lose a
Yeah.
little bit of offense
Yep.
in the paint, and
Yep.
and I know this isn't the NBA of like 10 years ago, but it still matters to have a big man that can
Heck
score, that
yeah.
can grab rebounds, that can
Especially
that
when
can
you
pass.
have two guards under 6'3".
That's what I-
But let's
Yeah.
not forget Pau Gasol.
That's right. They picked up Powell. How much gas does Powell have left in the tank, though?
Uh,
Powell.
You know what? It's not much, but no, I say that a little in jest,
Right,
but
a little tongue-in-cheek.
But I also like the fact that you have a guy like that on the roster. A vet who's been in it, who's won, who's been in the NBA, who's played overseas.
Yep.
He just knows the game and loves the game, and I think having a presence like that on a team that already has a clear-cut leader
Yep.
in Dame Lillard, a guy that everybody loves,
He is a leader.
awesome.
Whiteside and Powell will hold on the fort until Nurk gets back. I mean, Nurk was 15-10 last year, almost 16-10. I mean, that's a lot to replace, and good D. So
Hey.
Really good D.
League Pass team?
yes,
Yeah,
Of
always.
course. And will they make the playoffs?
Likely.
Yes.
Yeah,
of
likely
course.
playoffs. Yep.
Yes. Let's move on to my personal sleeper team, the Utah Jazz. I am so excited for my boy D. Mitch to obviously return, but with Mike Conley, which I'm so excited about.
yeah.
And obviously, Defensive Player of the Year, Rudy Gobert, one of your favorites. So let's take it.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing Conley and Mitchell. Like I really am. I think
That's the one guy he needed to help him.
Yeah, I think if Rubio had a little bit more of an offensive game, it could have worked with him. But this is solid because
Yeah.
Conley can shoot. Conley can score. He can find his own. He can find his own points. But man, can that guy D up? And he's short. He's small, but he can play D, and he's gonna give it his all every night. And I just like the idea of him and Mitchell. I'm curious to see how it works out, and I love that they were playing together this offseason.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think losing Favors probably it's going to be interesting because he was a power forward. They signed at Davis. I'm not sure.
Well, I actually like that. Here's the thing. So the Utah Jazz is obviously like basketball Twitter's like darling, right? This is like hipster basketball Twitter is like all about the Utah Jazz. And to be fair, I like them as well. So you have Mike Conley, who he never made an All-Star team yet, but he's pretty much an All-Star level point guard,
That's
right?
hard to believe.
But he's because the Western Conference is so loaded.
it's so loaded.
But he is a throwback in that way, right? Like kind of your old school point guard where like he's worried about setting everybody up and getting them going. and he'll find his points when he can. I love that because it takes ball handling responsibilities, at least primarily, away from Donovan. Lets Donovan operate off ball, which is better for him, right?
Yeah.
Because he was doing everything.
He can cut to the rim, he can slash, and he can take some time off and then be the backup point when Conley's off the floor.
Yeah.
I like that. I also love the signing of Bojan Bogdanovic at the wing, small forward.
yes.
That's going to be so huge because you have another scorer now. I mean, Bojan was shooting, 41 from 3 last year, 41% from 3? Like, he's good for
Nice.
Indiana. Like, he was great for Indiana last year.
And
like,
he's playing with an upgraded backcourt.
Yes.
Oladipo.
oh, great.
Great.
But, like, this is Vic. That's really,
Yeah.
you know.
But I was gonna say him. But also, I like the signings of Moutier.
Yeah.
Yes.
Williams,
He's a decent.
Yeah.
But the other thing for me is again going back to Ed Davis.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm going to get that point. I like the Davis signing because remember last year when we saw him with the Nets, he was the best rebounder or top 2 or top 3 in the league per 36 in rebounds.
Yeah.
Like, so you're gonna replace that rebounding that you lost with Favors with Ed Davis coming in.
yeah, absolutely. And you can they signed Jeff Green. You have Joe Ingles. You can play both
Yep,
of them at
that's
the,
right.
at
Ingles
the
can
4.
shoot. Yep.
Yeah.
But there's just something about not having Favors there. Maybe I'm. I really liked that team last year. Maybe I'm just a little crazy. Maybe I was just used to seeing him
Yeah, be that
that
four,
guy
that 4 presence
all the time.
How does that affect Rudy? It'll be interesting to see what that looks like.
I mean, they did at times play them separately because they're just so big
Yep,
and
clog
slow.
up the paint.
But we'll see because you're not if you're talking about big and slow. Ed Davis is not him and Gobert together.
right
isn't
now,
going to work.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's
But maybe in certain instances, depending on where you are, you might throw that lineup out there.
yeah.
That could be your 4 or 5. I don't know. We'll see what Quinn Snyder wants to do.
The other thing
defensively.
is back to having Bojan and Mike Conley is at the beginning of the season you realize how difficult it was for Donovan Mitchell to get his buckets.
He had to do everything.
He had to do everything.
Everything, yeah. And he was
just-
exhausted.
Yeah, just to unleash him now. It's going to be interesting to see how he starts this season.
Yeah.
I mean, he's also on my fantasy team. So,
Hey.
but
So you're hoping he.
but no, I'm really high on him. I know he's undersized, but that's whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm
Dwayne Wade was
extremely high on
6'4".
him.
Well, that's the thing, right? And Wade is the comp that everybody uses, right? So the question is, can he be Wade-like, right? Like, Dwayne Wade's
He
what?
was also training with him too. so.
Wade's arguably what, the 3rd best shooting guard of all time?
yeah.
I mean, that's so that's
Yeah.
that's a tall order. But if he could be Wade light, I mean,
I also want to see Gobert kind of improve offensively.
a little bit
bit.
offensively, right? Just
little bit.
more than just catching off the rim. I mean, just a little like a quick hook and something that where you can step out and maybe hit like a 15-footer, like.
Something to kind of just not be a liability at
Right,
times,
right.
especially when it comes down to like the closing minutes of a game and in the postseason. But other than that, I'm high on this team.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really high on this team, and I've always liked watching Utah, especially. I mean, they've always put out a
Good product.
a good product,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. League pass team, Utah
Absolutely.
Jazz.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. Who
And will
doesn't
they
want to
make-
watch Jeff Green?
Jeff
Oh,
Green.
come on. I was thinking more about Spida,
Of
okay?
course, you and your boy Spider Mitchell.
You know, follows me on Instagram. Just Anyway, will they make the playoffs?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. And that wraps up
The Northwest
Division. Now, let's move on really quick here to the Pacific Division to the Golden State Warriors. Won the division last season, 57-25, and they were the number 1 seed. Now, I am most interested to see this not new, but kind of Kevin Durant-less Golden State Warriors team to see where they rank amongst who's who because they're without their star player. Obviously, we have Steph Curry returning. We have all the regulars, but we're without Klay Thompson. He's still rehabbing from the ACL, but we replace him with D'Angelo Russell, which I'm very excited about. So I'm excited to see how D-Russ fits in that rotation and to see how they create their identity now that they are without Kevin Durant.
For me, the question I have is, will the 5 consecutive trips to the finals finally wear this team down? I say it all the time. There's a reason teams don't win 6, 7, 8, 9 titles in a row. Playing basketball into late June wears you out.
Mentally, physically.
It just does. And look, the Warriors are going to talk and they've been talking media day and all offseason about they don't have to manufacture a chip anymore because everybody's doubting them. It's going to be Steph unleashed, Draymond, all that. Listen, this is a team that loathed the regular season when they were competing for championships every year, right? It was this slog they had to get through. So do we magically think now that because people are doubting you, you're going to turn on that magical switch and play hard-nosed ball in the regular season? Personally, I don't see it. Number two, I wonder, so all of the hashtag Steph Better Hive and all those people who love to do that, what they were dying for, because, secretly most Golden State fans didn't like Kevin Durant. Can we want to see Steph unleashed and pick and roll shooting 30 times a game? You have your wish. This is what you're going to have. So guess what? He may win a scoring title.
I think we're going to see more leadership out of him now.
He might even get early MVP buzz.
Hey.
But here's the thing, and we've seen it. Is that type of an offense good enough to carry you all the way through to a title? You can say, okay, it did once. Sure, when they won it in 15 or 16 before Durant got there. 15, right? Okay, went to 6 games against the Cavaliers. Steph was not Finals MVP. That was Andre Iguodala. Numbers went down. Steph wore down throughout that season. The next year, the 73-win season, when they were going for it every regular season game, blowing teams out, Steph shooting 40-footers, wonderful and beautiful to see. He wore down come finals time, right? Every year, Steph has some kind of injury that knocks him out for 8 to 10 to 12 games.
At significant times, too.
Right? So, again, cool. Listen, Golden State Warriors fans, you have your wish. You got your man back at the helm with the ball in his hands, shooting 30 times a game. Great. I know you're going to love seeing it. Is that conducive for championship-level basketball with that team at this current stage? Draymond is older. Steph is older. Klay coming off an ACL, not back to the All-Star break. Because listen, in Golden State, you're a championship team now. That's what you guys aspire to, is championships. And it's no longer let's just make the playoffs and have a good time.
And Golden State said they're not going to reevaluate him until All-Star break, so we don't even know exactly. So,
I'm not... man, what was their biggest signing? Willie Cauley-Stein?
And he's hurt.
Mm-hmm. And so they brought back Looney. Mm-hmm. Solid.
I like Kevon Looney. Yep.
Yeah.
There's some pieces on this team that I look
D'Lo. I'm curious to see D'Lo on that team.
Listen, I am too, and I think he's going to probably explode for a lot of points.
Listen, he'll get a lot of open threes.
Yep.
But the problem here comes down to where's that defense going to come from in that backcourt? Because
Amen.
D'Lo ain't playing it.
I think
Steph ain't doing
Draymond
it.
is probably going to do what Draymond does. Fine, but what are you going to do? Alfonso McKinney's going to come in and
Draymond is the smartest and best defender in the league. Like there's no one that does what he does.
But
for all 82 games and come for a playoff run, and
I don't know. Like this isn't the days of Allen Iverson where you just put one guard out there and he goes like I get it. Steph can just go crazy with those 3-pointers. His ability to get to the basket is so underrated, I think, because we're constantly talking about his shooting, but he can get to the hole so easily. Mm-hmm. I just don't see where they're going to produce these wins. Like I don't, because the one thing they had before KD was role players. Mm-hmm. The one thing they didn't have with KD was depth, and now what they don't have is they don't have KD.
They don't have Iguodala.
They don't have Iggy. They don't have
Livingston.
And Iggy was a huge defensive role player for them.
Nothing outside of
Steph, Draymond, D'Lo, Looney.
Yeah. Like that does not
Eric Paschall.
Jacob Evans. Like that does not spell. I mean, look, maybe I'm being hard. I'm a big Steph fan,
right?
But it's just going to be hard. And you know what's scary is? What's scary here is that so much is going to be on his back that he can get hurt.
Well, here's the other thing too.
I agree.
Would you say that Steph can get better, or this is we've seen the best of who he is. Like he can maintain, but the idea of him getting better is probably unlikely.
I think we've seen the best of the shooting, but I think this is the season that's going to teach him defense. I really do. I think that this is the season that it's going to make or break him on defense. Are you going to play it or are you not?
Well, here's the thing. He plays defense. The issue is sometimes he's limited because size-wise, and
he's not super athletic.
He's a willing defender. It's not like he doesn't have a turnstile. He doesn't just let guys get by him. He is a willing defender. But sometimes, and he'll admit this, he gets lazy. He reaches, right? Like he does things like that. Are you going to all of a sudden break out of those habits at this now? You're what?
He doesn't
season
really
10,
have a choice.
Season,
And again, it's you look at this team, the different rosters they put together over the last 5-6 years. Mm-hmm. Like there's always been other guys that you just know, like if Steph's having an off night, you knew Klay was going to step up. If Klay and Steph were having off nights, you knew guys like Livingston, guys like Iggy were going to step up. Mm-hmm. Jordan Bell was going to give you
Quinn
a big
Cook,
play.
who's not there anymore.
Yeah,
it's,
yeah.
It's a matter of like that confidence starts from like the top down, right? And you give guys like Alfonso McKinney the confidence to go out there and play well, but he's also going out there and playing with Steph, Draymond, KD. You know, like he's not on the court with Glenn Robinson or Mari Spellman, Eric Pascal. Like, you know what I mean? Like this roster is now
Jordan Poole, Marquise Chris.
Yeah, like
Glenn Robinson the third.
And can they make the playoffs? I think they can compete to make the playoffs, but I don't know. I'm not.
And again, I go back to what I originally started with, which is, does 5 consecutive finals trips wear you out?
Yes.
Yeah, I think
Not
so.
to mention, 2020 is an Olympic year. Steph already said, I'm playing in the Olympics, right?
Yeah.
Draymond said, like, Clay wants to.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
If it starts like bad.
Yeah, if they start
For
off
them.
like, I don't know, 2-8 or whatever.
Yeah, and it continues to
Mm-hmm.
just a deep dive and wins and losses.
Right.
What happens to Draymond?
That's a good question.
You know, like, do you say, oh, well, we'll turn it around when Clay comes? I mean, what if it gets to the point where they can't turn it around?
Especially
Like-
in that tough Western Conference.
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
thing with the Western Conference is that you have like 5 teams that you say
Mm-hmm.
to yourself, like, yo, these guys are playoff teams.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna compete. They're gonna be tough outs every night. Then you have the rest that are you just never know. Even some of the worst teams, you just don't know what you're gonna
Yeah.
get on them.
The Warriors,
At least right now.
the Warriors in that division had it on lock for the last 5 years. The Lakers weren't a bother. The Clippers really weren't a bother. The
No,
Kings,
they had a pretty
right?
easy ride.
But and the Suns are what they are, terrible. So they still got the Suns to beat up on. But listen, the Lakers and Clippers are not pushovers. And look, the Clippers took on the 6 last year in the playoffs, and that's not even the current iteration that they are right now. So it'll be interesting to see. For me, they are still a league pass team because you still have Steph Curry who can just do incredible things.
They're not going to lose their star
And
power.
Look, and Steph and Draymond, that is still a devastating pick and roll combination. They can do
Yeah.
a lot of great things.
Still fun to watch.
Yeah. What do you say? You think they're a league pass team still?
Yeah, I think so because they're still. I think they're gonna put up a lot of numbers between him and D'Lo, especially.
Yeah.
But it's
And people are going to tune in for that new edition, too.
yeah, I think so. I don't know though. D'Lo doesn't seem to be like you have the net fans who
Who love
like,
D'Lo, yeah.
love D'Lo.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't know if he's. I still don't know if he's gotten over that hump of being like just like people. I still think people have this bad taste. In their mouth
doubts about
him.
him?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I think he got rid of a lot of that with the performance he put on last year in
Yep.
Brooklyn. The question I have though, is he a long-term solution there? You know,
Exactly.
Myers could have acquired him to trade him. and
Also,
move him for
yeah, that's what I was
somebody,
gonna say.
you know?
Also, you know, if it starts not looking good, D'Lo
knows?
could be moved.
And guess what? And you
Exactly.
can get some stuff back for him.
Okay, so will they make the playoffs?
I think they will.
I think they will.
I agree.
I think they will.
Okay, now we need to move on to
Despite everything I said.
the last 2 LA teams. Let's start with the Los Angeles Clippers. I'm obviously excited for the NBA championship winning.
What it do,
Kawhi.
baby?
Yes, Kawhi Leonard and PG-13, in my opinion, the most humble duo that teamed up in the offseason. I'm also excited to see how Doc Rivers is going to handle those two. And I'm excited to see this full lineup with the defense that's in Lou Williams and Pat Beverly, deadly defenders. So 4 players right there out of 5, I can automatically say I'm super confident that the Clippers are going to have a great run. So take the floor, boys.
I am excited for that defense.
Yeah.
I like.
Oh, it's
I
gonna
know
be
that their
fun.
starting lineup may not be like the sexiest side. It's not like jaw
Now,
dropping.
what are you
but
saying?
Yo,
I
but
think
they
it
can-
is.
they can guard.
Oh
They
my
can
God,
guard, man.
It's scary to think
So
of like
scary.
PG, Kawhi, and Patrick
Bev-
Beverly.
oh my
And PG
God.
was in
That's
the
it.
running for Defensive Player of the Year
That-
too. So
Like, listen, if you're and don't forget Trez Harrell, like, listen, you come in and you're having and it's a night that you went out in LA and you got and Patrick Beverly's all in your shorts all night, like, nah,
Nope,
dude.
you don't want none of
like,
that smoke.
You don't want that smoke.
yeah,
like,
it's
like when they and you know Doc is a defensive guy. I mean, also creative on the offensive end as well. That team's going to be a tough out. I'm curious to see how they play it out. Right? Is it going to be Kawhi and PG doing the 3-4 or the 2-3?
I was thinking
I
the
know
same
we're in
thing.
positionless basketball, so it really kind of doesn't matter. But it kind of still does to an extent,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like,
I think that's the beauty about Paul George.
Yes,
Is
he
like
can- he
you can put him out there for like 3 positions.
Right, he can be the 2, he can be the 3, he can play 4.
Yeah, and-
same with Kawhi, right? I mean, like you
Yeah.
can put them at the 2, 3, or 4 also.
And Kawhi's strong as hell,
Oh
man.
my God, Kawhi's so
This
strong.
fucking guy can you can put him at the 4 and not necessarily worry.
No.
Even if it's
No.
not, even if it's 10 minutes in a game,
Yeah.
15 minutes a
No.
game,
Yep.
like.
Lou Williams off the bench, instant offense. Love that guy. I mean, look, that guy, he's like a Jamal Crawford in the way that he's always going to have a job in the NBA because all he does is get buckets, all right?
Yep.
Yeah.
He just gets buckets. He is a professional scorer.
And
that's
Yeah.
what Lou Williams is.
And they rounded it out with guys like
Harkless.
Patterson.
Yep.
And then they have Shamet coming
Yep.
back.
I
Jerome
like Landry
Robinson.
Shamet a lot.
Like
Yeah.
there's some pieces here that you're like, wow. They
Yeah.
brought in Roddy McGruder,
Yep.
which I liked. Again, this just gives them depth. I don't know if these guys who's going to get more minutes than who.
And
But
they got Zubac, who people like, and I kind of like Zubac, you know?
yeah, he's talented. I'm pretty interested in seeing how he's gonna improve this season.
And I think Trez Harrell, again, as I mentioned, he's so important for them. Look, I mean, is Doc going to run a bunch of pick and roll? Like, I'm so fascinated to see what this team does offensively because I know what they are defensively. They're going to be a lockdown monster. And guess what? That's what you need because when you're playing in the playoffs and you're trying to get to a title, you got to shut these wings down. You got to shut down
Yep.
LeBron,
These
AD,
shooters, too. Yeah.
Steph Curry, Paul, all these kinds of wing guys. You got Giannis. You got to shut these guys down, and you need long, rangy dudes who can guard.
And Kawhi Leonard's hands.
And Kawhi and Paul George, you got that.
I really want to see a lineup of Lou Williams,
Mm-hmm.
of PG, of Kawhi and Beverly out there. At
Oh,
some point.
man.
Like I just want and Harrell. Like I
Oh,
just want
my
to see
God.
those guys together
Yeah.
on the court. But I'm excited for this team.
Yeah.
They look good. I mean.
Speaking of, you said Kawhi Leonard was strong. Did anybody see the photos that came out today of Kawhi Leonard
Working out with
lifting
Arnold
with
Schwarzenegger?
Arnold
Oh,
Schwarzenegger?
They were in the gym. I think it was today or yesterday.
It was today or yesterday, either one.
Lakers fans.
But
look
like,
at
are
that.
you kidding me?
I know, it's
right now?
crazy.
All right, I think I'm gonna say unanimous yes for both, but I'll let you guys take the floor.
Oh, they
League
are
pass
for
team,
sure a league pass team.
Yeah.
making the playoffs.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And what I like
Okay.
about it is, and we're going to get to the Lakers next, the Lakers are going to be soaking up all the publicity and drama. Clippers are going to be minding their own business, doing their thing.
Shutting people
Yeah.
down.
And
yeah.
let's I mean, I know people say they still need one more big man there, but remember, this is what they're starting the season with.
Right.
Imagine if they can add something without really losing much.
A
Like,
stretch 4. I know a team in New York that has 17 million power forwards that might want to trade one come the trade deadline.
You know, like it's scary what this team could possibly do this
Absolutely.
season.
Alrighty. Last but not least, the how can we say it? Controversial Los Angeles Lakers, who went 37 for 45 last year, but it might be different this year since they acquired Anthony Davis, and I am most excited to see the deadly pairing between LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Now, we lost a lot of pieces, gained a lot of pieces. At one point, I think the Lakers had like 2 people on their roster. So this should be really, really, really interesting. But we also have Rajon Rondo coming back. I mean, we have a ton of different moving parts. We'll just see how they can come together. Boys, take the floor.
So Father Time is undefeated. We know this. LeBron missed a ton of time last year because of the growing injury, but he still finished with 27, 8, and 8, right? Still, for anybody else, like, I mean, it's incredible. He already came out on media day and said, it'd be stupid if we don't play through Anthony Davis. That's what I got him here for. All that talk. Is that talk, or is LeBron going to actually do that, number one? Number two, what do we realistically expect for Bron in, year 15? Is this not start of year 15?
Let's also remember, though, and you know I'm an LBJ fan, but the numbers that he put up last year, too, even before he got the groin injury,
Here's
I
the thing.
mean, I don't even think we have to think about that.
He's going to put up 20 because he can do that falling out of his bed. Like, I'm not worried about that. What I'm worried about is, look, they got to win games, right? And get a cohesion together and get a chemistry. I think it's this thing where it's like, just insert LeBron, pour water, win championship here.
Yeah.
Like, maybe 5 years ago, you
Yeah.
could do that.
Yeah.
They need to develop some kind of cohesion in terms of how this is going to work. And is LeBron right? Are they going to play through Anthony Davis in the regular season? But then what does that mean? Does that mean LeBron says, okay, come postseason, I'm jocking the ball now? I'm not saying it's going to be a bad mix. I'm just saying I want to see what this is going to be.
I love this is going to be the first time him playing with Wade and then Davis are probably
Right.
the 2 best players he's ever played with.
Yes.
So Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see him and AD together. I agree with him. It's the best course of action for them going into the season. And I think come the playoffs, though, the advantage that they have is that they do have LeBron James there. So Davis doesn't have a lot of experience in the postseason. So having James being able to say, I'm going to take the reins here and bring it in home. That's huge.
I said that on last podcast. There are two players in the league who, in a playoff series, I want on my team because they can think me through any scenario because their brains work so well, and it's LeBron and it's Chris Paul. Those guys just understand and can see everything happening before it happens. So that piece is going to be invaluable. Again, this is year 15.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like I just, or 15 or 16, whatever it is. I just want to see what it's going to look like. He's obviously going to coast some in the regular season because he has to. You can't grind out 82 games and then scratch it up for the playoffs.
And I think they'll be careful with that too.
Some load management. So what I'm curious to see is what does Quinn Cook and these guys look like? Avery Bradley, Danny Green, right? Because my concern was, is there enough shooting around those guys? Because there's a recipe for LeBron excelling in the postseason and finals is enough shooting. I like Danny Green. Can Quinn Cook and Avery Bradley hit threes consistently?
I like Quinn Cook, too.
Yeah, I was going to say, I love the Quinn Cook signing.
Playoff experience.
Championship experience.
I think that's probably my favorite signing.
Quinn Cook,
and then Dwight Howard after that.
Yeah, back to Dwight. I mean, we said it before.
Dwight, too, yeah.
If Dwight understands, and it seems, again, listen, media day and training camp early returns is like the first day of school. Everybody's happy with each other. Everybody's full of optimism, right? Hope springs eternal. That is what everyone feels like at the beginning of training camp. We'll see, on this China trip, what happens and all that. But if Dwight understands his role, which is rebound, defend the paint, rim protect. On occasion, if a ball's falling off the rim, you could dunk it home. We're not running any plays for you. Literally zero.
Here's my two things really quick that I would add. I think that just observing Dwight Howard a little bit, first of all, he looks incredible. Incredible shape.
His
frame, his frame is frightening. I think he might have a bigger frame than LeBron.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, he looks great, on the outside surface level, everything. I do think he's understood that now just because of how low people have viewed him within the league. Mm-hmm. Not to mention, I'm sorry, but LeBron James is like the cool kid at lunch in high school.
Right.
You're not going to try to piss him off, and you're not going to not listen to him.
I mean, he somehow pissed Kobe off, but that's a whole other thing.
Exactly. And look what happened there. So, yeah, and I think Quinn Cook, it's going to be good for him to come home to LA, his dad, everything like that. I think, and again, like we said, championship experience. Not to mention, when you're thrown in the finals or in the postseason to fill in the shoes for Steph Curry, I think he's got it locked down for the Lakers.
And Kuzma's going to be big for them. I want to see, look, Kuzma's also hurt, so he's got to come back. But is Kuzma hype or is he like legit? Is what I want to know.
I think he's legit.
I think he's legit.
But here's the thing: is he just getting that LA Lakers sheen? Like if Kuzma played for the Chicago Bulls, would we know Kuzma the way he is?
I think so.
I don't think we know him the way he is. I think he's talented. I think what you see is what you get. I don't know if he's going to get much better than
what he is right now.
Correction. I think he can improve, obviously. He's so young. But I don't know if he's ever going to be like, you look at him and you're like, this is the guy that I want to sign to $140 million or $300 million when that time comes,
Puma saw that.
But the thing is, Puma saw that because he's in LA. He's
right,
in
that's
a big market.
what I'm saying.
I
think it's the LA sheen.
And there's right? It's kind of like when guys come into the Knicks. It's just different. It's just more media. Over there's all these endorsements and celebrity and movie deals and all that. That's what he's getting.
Shout out to what is it? The Warriors podcast, Light Years with Sam Esfandiari and Andy Liu. Sam Esfandiari said about Kyle Kuzma, he's a Puma athlete that plays basketball for the Lakers on the side.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's kind of what I think of when I think of Kyle Kuzma. It's a guy who's always the all cozy fit team, this, that, always got drip and great. And I love all that. But and look, he's done some things on the court, but I'm going to be tuning in to really see when he's back on the court and playing. What are you really about, Kyle Kuzma?
Just looking at their roster again, the one thing I really like about this team is it seems like a high IQ team. When you talk about Danny Green, Jared Dudley, LeBron James, Rajon Rondo.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
basketball IQ high through the roof.
JaVale McGee. No. but the thing is, it's, that's important, right? Like, I think a lot of people forget, like, you need guys that know how to play the game, that know where to be and know how to play defense. And these guys can do that. The other thing is injuries, right? Not that you have to, like, go into the season and say, you got to count 20 games because of injury. But you know what? Why has Howard been such a bust these last few seasons, or such a problem it hasn't been his attitude so much. It's been he hasn't been able to stay on the court.
It's injuries. Yep.
Anthony Davis he always has some knick-knack, some nicks and bruises here and there.
And LeBron's
getting older. So, that's something that's a cause for concern.
Because they're not very deep.
If they lose Davis for 15 games.
Problems.
Bad. Bad.
So we'll see.
I mean, and we saw too, really quick, the numbers, how they dropped insanely with the Lakers when LeBron was out with a groin injury. So, yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean, it's definitely a valid point. So, my friends, that wraps up the Pacific Division. We've already, been hashing it out here. Now.
Wait, League Pass team.
Oh, yes. Well, I'm sorry. I'm answering them in my head. Are they a League Pass team?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, 100%.
Playoff team?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
A lot of people have them going to the title already. I don't know. Like, I need to see.
Vegas has the Clippers, so
true.
now.
Listen, I always say about Vegas, you ever notice they're never shutting down casinos in Vegas. They're always opening new ones. There's a reason for that, right? Okay?
Yeah.
The house knows.
That's right. Now, I do know that we need to wrap this up. So we will be back for part 2. We just wrapped part 1, and we will see you guys in the next block.
Later.
Peace. Stepped out.
I'm hungry.
And we got part 2. So part 2 is just the rest of the Pacific Division and then the Southwest. I love it.
Spent a couple years out here with these raps, trying to have a plan that we made come true. Applied to some jobs, but I ain't here back. I don't wanna trap, what's a man gonna do? Chevy told me come through to the spot. Got a little kickback, bring the whole crew. Right around 10, came dressed in the nines. You already know what we really finna do when we pull up on the scene. Pull up on the scene, pull up on the scene. Yeah, we pull up on the scene. See, my life is a movie. Pull up on the scene, did it so smoothly. Pull up on the scene. Mario Kart when I'm out on the road. Only out for peaches and getting that cream. Cash rules everything except me, nigga. And I like to think that you know what that means. Deep is the ocean with all these flows. Trying to start a wave here with all these streams. Spent a couple years out here. We pull up on the scene. Mario Kart when I'm out on the road. Only out for peaches and getting that cream. Cash rules everything except me, nigga. And I like to think that you know what that means. Yeah.
Part 1, and we will see you guys in the next block.
Later.
Peace.
We will see you guys in the next block.
Later.
Peace.
And we got part 2. So part 2 is just the rest of the Pacific Division and then the Southwest. I love it.
Spent a couple years out here with these raps, trying to have a plan that we made come true. Applied to some jobs, but I ain't hit back. I don't wanna trap, what's a man gonna do? Chevy told me come through to the spot. Got a little kickback, bring the whole crew. Right around 10, came dressed in the nines. You already know we really finna do